Welcome back, people, to the channel. Here we go again. This one is a bit of a different post. I've just spent a week in the Canaries. Now, a long story short, I used to live in Tenerife only for a short time. I went across to buy a business, it all fell through. That is another story. I did mention it on this channel on my cruise line thing. So if you go and watch the ones I did on the cruises, it's all mentioned there. This Canary trip was a bit of a small family one with one of my sons and grandkids to Fuerteventura. Now, while I was over there, I didn't do any of the hotel, I didn't do any reviews or anything like that. I did take some few photos and a tiny bit of video on my phone, purely because I wanted to do something about the electric cars. You know, how many there were, how many I saw, where the chargers were, how it's developing in the Canaries. So that's what this is all about, the Canaries and EVs. Now, before I natter on even further, I will say that this will cover something of the solar that I saw out there as well, because obviously my channel is EVs and renewables and sustainability. So yeah, I will mention the solar. Now, it goes without saying that every building, virtually every building, even if it's a small dwelling, you know, for domestic use, has maybe one or at least two solar panels with a water heater above them, so they're not paying for any hot water. Living in that climate all year round must be great, because your solar will give you virtually everything you need. Renewables, you know, they are used in the Canaries, obviously because of their sunshine, but the EV story is a different thing. Now, put yourself in the Canaries. You're living in Tenerife, Gran Canaria, Fuerteventura, wherever. 4 or 5 of the islands, you know, they are a great place to take a vacation. If you were living there, would you own an EV? Now, first of all, like I said in the opening of this post, if I lived in any of them islands over there, the first investment I would make would be a full solar package on my roof, and obviously a couple of panels separate for the water heating. That goes without saying. You're pretty much covered then to have virtually zero cost off the grid, which is a massive saving. But yes, a big input to begin with, but a massive saving. Now, would that allow you to run an EV cheaper? Yes, of course it would, if you had battery storage as well. And in that climate, why wouldn't you, if you could afford to do it? This brings me to the first anti-thing about EV ownership in the Canaries, and that is that, number one, the wages aren't great. They are not paid super well, and a lot of it is hospitality. Hospitality is a lot of hours for little pay. As you can see here, the normal average Canarian worker would be on around £1,500 a month, whereas in Europe, mainland, it's £2,300, a massive difference. Also, number 2 against EVs is of course the mileage that they do on the island. Now, if you lived on, say, Fuerteventura or Tenerife, these are quite small islands. So your mileage, you would work local, you would shop local, you know, and your relatives would be local to you as well. The only time you would leave the island possibly is to go on one of the ferry hoppers that take you to the other islands in your car. But you might even go as a foot passenger. So car ownership in the Canaries, they are low mileage, low use cars. In the Canaries, it's just that everything is in a small circle of life. So you don't need to do the high mileage. This turns me to number 3. Number 3 is the fact that gasoline, fuel, is relatively cheap in the Canaries. I saw it as cheap as €1.06 for a litre. €1.06 equates to, let's say a pound. Okay, let's say a pound. I think I got 1.13 actually exchange rate, but so that's £1 a litre. That's still cheaper than here at the moment. I don't know what the cheapest petrol is here or diesel. I've not really looked. I think I've kind of glanced out my eyes because these things don't affect me anymore, obviously. Running an EV, I think at the moment here in the UK, the average is around 134, 136 for petrol, and diesel is edging towards that 140 again. Comment below if I'm wrong or right. You're going to see it higher, you're going to see it lower. But in the Canaries, I saw it as low as 106. The highest I saw was about 118. That was up near the airport. Now, because of the wages that these people are on, it's better to go out and buy a cheap, rot-free, and they mainly are in these islands of Canaries because they don't use salt on the road like we do here. And an old car would last a lot longer. I have to admit to that. I'm not a lover of 20-year-old cars still being on the road. I'm not, because they do pollute more per mile. So you can gather there's a lot against EVs and more going for petrol and diesel still in the Canaries. So it's all about budget, I think, that's holding back the onslaught of electric vehicles in the islands of the Canaries, especially Fuerteventura. Now, there are some positives. One of the positives is that I came across a brand new Hyundai Ioniq 5 being used as a taxi. Yeah, a taxi. Now, it's not going to be the only one there, but I was pretty shocked when I saw it. Wow, you know, and this is it here. As I'm showing you, I was on the coach to go back home to the airport, and there he was, waiting for his next passengers. That is the only brand new vehicle that I actually saw, where I was anyway, because I was stuck in a hotel most of the time, don't forget, that was being used as a taxi. Now, there's bound to be more, but that's the only one I saw. So if you're over there on vacation, holiday, let me know. Drop a comment below and tell me what you see electric car wise. Now, do not get them mixed up, because there's a lot of Opals, which are Vauxhalls obviously, but Opal, European Opal, and there's a lot out there that you think, oh, it's electric, and then you get to the back of it, you see an exhaust. They're not. It's the same as the Peugeot 208s. There's a lot of those on that island, around 2 to 3 year old, and I only seen one electric E208. All the rest were petrol. Now, I did a bit of homework regarding where the charges were, and I did find some on a local map here. Now, this is around where we were staying. As you can see here, the island is 62 miles north to south and 19 miles at the widest part across. These charges that you can see here are mainly on the FV2, FV1 and the FV10. They're major roadways in Fuerteventura. There's not many outside of the major roads, but the majority are at Repsol stations. There's a BP charging one, and then there are quite a few Endesa type chargers. But yep, there's enough to be quite happy owning an EV. The majority only between 22 to 60 kilowatt, although the highest I saw and can find is 150. So at 150, that's not too bad. That won't take you too long to charge at all. Plus, you've always got the home. I think we all, on a commercial basis, have a cutout where fuel will be too expensive that you wouldn't be making any profit, and that may push you over to an electric car if your electric is cheaper. I do know in the Canaries that electric prices are very keen. They pay less than we do. And again, we in the UK pay some of the most expensive electric prices anywhere in the world, never mind just in Europe. Now, this Ford main dealer here, there are main dealers obviously on Fuerteventura. I'm mentioning two, that's Ford and Hyundai, because they're the two cars that I saw more of. Yes, I did see a brand new Ford Explorer for sale at this Ford dealership just off the highway, so that's a going concern. And Hyundai, they're trying to push the Insta, as you can see there. This dealership must have been the one where we saw the taxi man buy from. There it is. So I do believe that there will be a transition. With cheap electricity and the sunshine they get all the time, I believe that solar will help that transition. Now, solar farms play a massive part for their energy, and there will be more and more as time goes on, I'm pretty sure. And as fuel gets more and more expensive worldwide, in the States, in Europe, and even in the third world of Africa, there'll be some massive transitions, and I think the Canary Islands will catch up quite quickly with the support of the EU, and especially their so-called mother country now being Spain. So it's up to the Spanish really to push the EV transition forward in the Canaries. But like I say, on a day-to-day basis, I think they're going to struggle with people out there who have got older cars, getting cheap fuel. They're not going to transition that quick. So there you go. I've enjoyed that one. Just a fast one, but yes, if you're out in Tenerife, Fuerteventura, Gran Canaria, or anywhere else out in the Canary Islands, please take a look, comment below, let me know what you see EV wise. That's it, finishing it there. If you are not subscribed, get done. Come and subscribe, please do. And of course, that little icon bell, ding ding, get that turned on so that the next one that comes out, the next post, you're going to get. Before I go, there is some good news. Trade passes are through for me and the other KK, and we will 100% be at the British Motor Show, and there's a little short about that. And also now we will be showing up, or I will be showing up at the all-electric event, Everything Electric, in Farnborough in October. I will be there, passed up, doing my thing. So if you see me there, come and say hello. Anyway, I'm out of here. We'll catch you later on the next post.